withdraw our consciousness from the personality, from all its aspects, we move inward. We detach ourselves, detach the consciousness from identification with either or any of these vehicles. From the world of the ethers, from our sentient astral feeling nature, and from the lower mind, and we establish ourselves as the soul in incarnation, a unit of consciousness, a unit of being, an observer of the customary personality environment in which we find ourselves. We begin to merge into this field, the deeper field of light, love, and spiritual power. We sense ourselves fading away from preoccupation with the personality vehicles, and as if within a world of light, love, and power, an inner temple, not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. And so we find ourselves in the soul field, truly and deeply within that field. Identifying far more with that field than with the personality we have left behind. As if we take our place within the center of the egoic lotus, within the central fire, as if within the jewel in the lotus, and from this position we begin to merge with each other in soul. This is the place where merging may be safely undertaken. This is the manner in which we are to draw others to ourselves in soul and not personally. Merging with others in soul according to the law of magnetic impulse, soul union. Until, spread as we are over the entire world, we begin to sense the reality of group soul. Present to each other in consciousness, and actually as one being and one consciousness. We imaginatively begin to include the disciples and initiates of the world, feeling our connection with them, The members of the new group of world servers conceived in the soul sense, wherever they may be located in their outer form. And the men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world, with them we begin to feel that soul union. And gradually touching, as it were, all human beings from the soul perspective. Whether they are in the body or out of the body, it makes no difference. It's as if wherever there is a human being, a human soul, we are there, and there is a sense of shared consciousness, shared identity. Until we can say and truly mean and understand, naught is but me, the one soul of humanity, the one being that humanity is. Naught is but me. Very important realization of wholeness, the wholeness of the human family and the oneness of the human family. And upon this realization we can surely work during these days when the Cancerian energy is strong, and especially during the full moon period. We feel ourselves focused at a point of tension, a point of group tension on the mental plane, that tension to be strengthened by the will of the group soul, all the 7 ray qualities pouring in, strengthening our point of tension, from which point we will seek the illumination which the Antakarana, the rainbow bridge, can bring. And we visualize, each of us, that rainbow bridge, built, as it were, of colored light, according to our soul and personality ray. Each of us building the bridge which extends from the mental unit, the point of focus on the mental plane, the point of intention, touching inwardly the higher mind, the intuitional nature, the source also of spiritual will, and eventually the point of pure being itself, the monad. The centrality of the monad giving us the sense of pure being. This Antakarana, built according to the red of the first ray, the indigo of the second, the green of the third, the yellow of the fourth, the orange of the fifth, the silvery rose color or light blue of the sixth, the violet of the seventh, this Antakarana vividly imagined, and if we are not certain of our soul or personality rays, we can use the indigo color, the all-embracing synthetic color of this solar system. And the group Antakarana, like a large cone tending upwards, filled with all the colors of all the bridges, thus representing all the seven rays, is visualized. Touching into the higher worlds, or perhaps tending inward toward the center of a great sphere, where likewise the blue-white diamond of spirit can be visualized. And along that Antakarana we will project the vivid line of brilliant white light. We will use the second ray, word of power. I see the greatest light. We will think that to ourselves, inwardly affirming, I see the greatest light. As we vitalize the entire Antakarana in this stage of projection, while outwardly we sound the sacred word on one of the sacred notes of the second ray, the G. See the greatest light. We have imaginatively entered the world of the spiritual triad together. And as a group invocative center will be open not only to the love and wisdom of the soul, but to the expansive triadal mind, to the revelation of intuition, to the descent of spiritual will, and to the sense of pure being, or the presence. And within this downflow, we will conduct our meditation, seeking the light, life, wisdom of the triad. We have in this way entered the world where the masters themselves are focused. They as souls and spirits, and it is in cooperation with them that we pursue our meditation. We offer our solidarity, our pledge, our salutations to these great brothers with whom we cooperate in consciousness and through the right use of energy. Our first salutation to the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we most closely cooperate. Master M, KH, and DK. Salutations to the Master Moria, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, coming Christ of the Age of Capricorn, the head of the second ray ashram, which is preparing most directly for the reappearance of the Christ. Salutations to the Master Jwalku, who is our most direct teacher and is preparing aspirants for the first 3 initiations. Salutations to your own Master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. And salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet, to the Great White Brotherhood, the society of organized and illumined minds, and then inwardly, silently, and in the long brotherhood we work as we imagine the group with these great guides of the human race, imbued with the emulating energy of the will, offering our sincerest of the King of Shambhala and most skillful cooperation. And our thought then rises to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and as a group and with deepest reverence and all humility, identified as a group soul together, we seek to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara standing at the very center of Shambhala. We are as if a unit of light, of love and power, all of us as a point. This point is as if hovering above the golden pathway which leads to the center of the indigo sun. We move inward together on the shortening golden path, together, as the golden path disappears into the indigo sun. And we are in the midst of the indigo. And from here specifically we can attune with the consciousness of the Master who is training so many on all the rays, Master DK. As if his consciousness can infuse and pervade and overshadow our own, and as if, as we approach the higher energies, we do so also with the aid of his conscious understanding. As if all that we pursue in contact now is undertaken consciously within this indigo sphere, which represents the gateway to the inner worlds. And we will be from this position aligning with the planetary rulers of this sign Cancer, the moon being the exoteric rather, the normal ruler, but not being a source in itself, but rather veiling three sacred planets: Vulcan associated with the physical nature, Neptune with the sentient feeling nature, and Uranus with the mental nature. And also, and further, we will be aligning with Neptune, considered as the esoteric ruler, inducing love and compassion and sensitivity within our usual astral emotional nature, replacing desire with love and compassion. And we will further align with a deeper level of Neptune, hierarchically offering us the intuition, the power of identification, and the realization of oneness with all sentient beings. Then we begin with pondering the moon, which is the mother of the form. We ponder it in relation to Cancer, and of course really to the deeper planets behind, Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus. And this energy is conveying to us the power to build the form in such a way that it may be transformed and prove, therefore, a fit vehicle to receive, contain, and radiate the light and love of the soul. The purified moon, the translucent moon, the transparent moon, symbolically, the vessel containing the light. The ray of Vulcan fortifying the physical nature, the ray of Neptune sensitizing the astral nature, the ray of Uranus electrifying, stimulating the mental nature, a fit vehicle, a fit temple to contain and receive the powers of the inner temple, And then our attention turns to Neptune. Beautiful blue planet, showing its essential relation to the energy of love wisdom, which it expresses monadically. Great Christ-like love coming through this planet when the stormy seas of emotion have been overcome, and the love wisdom reflected in the tranquil ocean of the astral plane. The astral body calmed and sensitized and open to the pervasion of the energy of love and wisdom. Through Venus and its higher octave, Neptune. The intuition entering our lives, the boundaries disappearing, the interflowing wholeness revealed, and even the pure being in the field of love, which Neptune can represent in relation to the monadic plane, hierarchically expressing Neptune beneath all the tumult and the clamor and the disturbance, the calmness forever unperturbed, the silence, the pure love wisdom which Neptune eventually conveys. So we will allow this great blue to flow into our nature. We will use the blue note to be pervaded, because pervasion is very much the quality of Neptune, pervaded by love wisdom in our group nature. So the group will provide a sea of tranquility in which the higher unitive states of realization can be reflected. And as Neptune represents the solar flames, we see it as related to the heart of the sun, of the solar logos, the blue logos. Perhaps, after all, Neptune is the planet most deeply related to our solar logos, even though it may be somewhat of a visitor in our solar system. The heart of the sun. The sun everywhere visible, when not obscured by the clouds. We know what that means symbolically. And when we see that great golden orb, suggesting the Buddhi, we think of the still deeper blue, also Buddhic, monadic, even cosmic astral, the deeper blue, from our blue logos, in alliance with Neptune. We raise our attention now towards the constellation Cancer, usually so dim as a constellation, seen between Leo and Gemini. Its faintness suggesting the dark light, which Cancer represents, the light within the form. This is the diffused light of substance itself, the dark light of matter, referred to in the secret doctrine. It is the light awaiting the stimulation coming from soul light. This constellation, so powerful in the first part of the earlier solar system, and now powerful in a new way, accorded with love, wisdom, through its highest ruler, Neptune, in this solar system. Through it pour the energy of the third ray, connecting to the dense physical plane, and the energy of the seventh connecting etherically. Both aspects of manifestation, etheric and dense, associated with this sign, as well as the great motive power of love, wisdom. And focusing on this constellation working through the sign Cancer, and entailing the blue of Neptune and the manifesting power of the third and seventh rays, we ponder on that mantram which we will be holding in our consciousness during these days, the day of the full moon itself and the days of distribution. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. We can conceive of this microcosmically and in the group sense and in relation to the soul, the group soul, and in relation to humanity and its soul, and beyond, in relation to our planetary process and even the lighted vehicle which the solar system is to become as our solar logos progresses. I build a lighted house and therein dwell. I build a lighted house. And I, the spirit soul, the identity, the consciousness, the point of being consciousness, dwell within the various lighted houses that I build. And eventually that lighted house will take in the triadal vehicles, shining with the light of the planetary logos himself, and finally, in distant days, when we too are Chohans, the supremely lighted house of the monadic vehicle, and even there is no end. The universe one day will become the fully lighted sphere it is intended to be. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. And if we could be a light to others and preserve the translucence, the transparency of our personality house through which the light of the soul shines, we would be a blessing to all those we encounter, and we would induce translucency, transparency, just by our auric presence, inducing the lighted houses until humanity itself could shine clear and become, as it will be eventually, a lighted house of redeemed substance, matter, the third aspect, matter, being raised into the ability to convey the vibrations of the second aspect. I build a lighted house. And therein dwell. And we know the means. The great teaching has given us the means, over time and with great patience, to build this lighted house. We need only the will and determination to do this, and the persistence which cancer gives, fortunately. And wherever there is in our nature something that is obscuring the outflow of the light, something that needs to be cleaned, to be rendered less opaque, more translucent, finally transparent, we must do the work. Do the work to clear so that the light may shine forth. And for us especially, let our individual lighted house and our group lighted house be the objects of our attention. And in that way, we can make our contribution to the lighted house of humanity more usefully, more readily, though so much patience will be required. I build a lighted house. And therein dwell. Let us see over the coming days, and the day of the full moon especially, if we can preserve this sense of dwelling in the lighted house of personality, of even dwelling in the lighted house of soul, centralized in the causal body, a great lighted house, centralized in the group soul, I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. And from the one about whom naught may be said, the great central constellation of the Pleiades with its hundreds of stars, so connected in a way with Cancer. The energy goes forth, into the constellation Cancer, and through the great solar logos, and touching the veiled planets Vulcan and Uranus, but especially Neptune in its deep blue, and to the earth, and into our monadic nature, into the great monadic circles, the 7 upon the monadic plane, conveying this light, and into every soul, every egoic group, the light coming into every soul, and into the dark matter of personality, illumining it, rendering it translucent, rendering it transparent. The great energy flows into the very matter of our physical bodies, the inner light, awakening from darkness to light, the dark light of our vehicles until we shine. Each one of us providing the temple for the Lord, for the internal Lord, the monad itself, till we know the body as a temple, and the group personality as a temple, and humanity itself as a temple. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. Humanity must become that lighted house. We can look out into the human kingdom. We can see the areas which are especially opaque, resistant to the clear flowing through of the light. Where are they? And we can concentrate together on seeing these areas of human life rendered translucent, rendered transparent. Where does the work have to be done? We can help the light of the soul and the higher lights flow into these areas of opacity, these areas which block the flow of the light. We can direct it, directing the light, imagining the translucency of these areas of inhibited light, the eventual transparency of these areas of inhibited light. With our hands raised in blessing, we convey the light so that it can shine forth in these areas of darkness, even through the densest matter. And the transformation can occur in the lighted house. Can emerge gradually, first tending to our own lighted house, making sure it really is, and then to the lighted houses of our group and groups, eventually to our nations, our cities, our nations, to humanity as a whole, and finally, of course, the day will come when the earth itself will become a great temple of light. So together, holding our alignment all the way from the Pleiades through Cancer to the Sun, through the planets of Neptune and Vulcan and Uranus, and also through the Earth in its head center, heart center, all the way through to such as we are as individuals and groups. We will sound this great mantram of light and power, the great invocation. We will follow it by the 3 ohms. We will pause between the verses. We sound together. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell.